What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am Poetry. You are here on the Free Spirit Tarot. We're doing another unboxing or unveiling, so to speak, of a deck that's new to me. May not be new to you, but we're going to get right into it. I have two decks left that I bought this week. One, the Love and Money Oracle, and then the Awakening the Far Memory deck, which is Reincarnation cards. And the Reincarnation cards it is. That's the one I'm going to open up. So I want to thank you guys for coming back to the channel, watching these videos. As I stated, I'm doing these little unboxings right now. Because technically speaking, when you're watching this video, I am on vacation. So I'm not really here. But I appreciate you being here. As I said in the reintroducing myself video, I was going to start giving out shout outs. So I want to give a shout out to KIY something. They are my new subscriber. They subscribe between that reintroduction video and now. So big ups to you. I appreciate you being here on the channel. I finally hit 300, child. Hey, that's a milestone. You just don't even understand. You don't even understand. So because I want to start getting to past life regressions, or not really past life regressions, but past life readings, I want to get more familiar with my cards. So this is the reason why I decided to open this one today, the Awakening the Far Memory. That's exposed for the thumbnail, you know what I'm saying? Okay. It is a hardcover book plus 61 beautiful cards. Because these are reincarnation cards, I may need to use the book. Ain't no telling, child. So I'm just gonna give you kind of some of my impressions as I reveal to you what these cards look like. Give you some thoughts and views. You know, when I really ain't into them, I start getting quiet, child. You watched that last video of mine that I did on the night before Christmas deck. I got quiet, and it wasn't that I didn't like the deck. There's a lot of cards that I would consider pip cards, which basically have no characters in them. It's just images of like needles. So it had like 7 needles. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got kind of quiet, but I do like the deck. So this one, oh, I just love this book. I love books. I am a reader, child. Look at this book, The Awakening for Memory book, that goes along with the deck. And this is like a young freaking novel. Let's see. This was written in 2007. I thought this book was 8 years old. This is what year is this? 2025? 18 years? This has been around for 18 years. Wow. Wow. The book set, yeah. This is the second version of it, it says. This work is lovingly dedicated to all the seers and the sages of East, West, and ancient and modern, whose insight has penetrated the ultimate mysteries of life and death, and who, without thought of reward, freely gave of their knowledge to humankind. It is especially dedicated to the memory of those countless realized philosophers who, untold ages ago, illuminated the prehistoric world with their wisdom, but whose names and very existence have been lost to us, and who must remain forever unknown. So when dealing with past life, like I said, when I started studying what past life regressions and what that already meant, it's not necessarily saying, okay, poetry girl, you used to be a shoe cobbler back in the day. It is saying that I can have traits of a shoe cobbler, and those traits have carried over into future lives, and those traits may be affecting my current life as it is today. It may also say in reverse that some of the characteristics that I have now could tell me who I was in the past. So not discounting the fact that I can say, poetry, you were a shoe cobbler, because I could have very well been a shoe cobbler. But the main focus of my readings and how I want to deliver it on this channel is for me to understand how these characteristics are affecting how we move today. Okay, so let's say, for example, if I pull the government card, what does that tell you? It doesn't tell me that I worked for the government, that I was in the government, that I dealt with the government. It doesn't tell you much, and it doesn't necessarily tell you what time frame it came from. So let's say, for example, if I pulled the government card for somebody in the reading, I could very well have been employed by the government. I could have been part of parliament. I could have been IRS tax collector. I could have been in the military. I could have been ICE. You know, some people's past lives may have, you know, stopped within the last, let's say I'm 52, 53 years ago. I could have been, you know, in one of these type of organizations of some sort. So there's a lot of different things. And then when you think about being in the government, you think being part of a society. You think of discipline. You think of pride, identity. A lot of government people who work for the government were up until this current administration were very proud of the federal status that we had, the government status that we had. So there's a lot of things that could be associated with being part of the government and not necessarily the occupation itself. So I don't know how these cards are supposed to break down. How to use the cards and their meanings. Okay, there we go. We're going to jump right into that. We have occupation. It's identified by a square. I don't see that in these cards. Then we have culture. We have environment. We have theme. And we have termination. Okay. These are what these cards are and their meanings. Okay, so let me jump on to page 56. I'm skipping over a lot of stuff here. Okay, so the occupation cards are white, or they relate to white. They represent the symbol of the square, and there's 14 cards. The culture cards are lapis blue. They're represented by the circle, and there's 17 cards. The environment is green, represented by a diamond, 9 cards. The theme is red, represented by a cross, 11 cards. Termination is purple, represented by the infinity signal, which is the number 8 laying on the side. And there's 10 cards, 61 cards altogether. The white cards, which as of right now, I don't see colors. So let me go ahead and open these decks up. Since this is start with number 1, I'm going to start it there. These are supposed to be white cards. I don't know how. Is this the side of the color? Child, the side of the cards is, I believe that's the color. Hold on, let me look. I don't want to turn my cards up. Let me see. I can get in here with my nail clipper and open this deck up. All right. I don't want to keep you long, so that's why I'm trying to talk fast. But I talk fast anyway. So why is this a white card? Oh, the backing of it. They consider that to be white, but it is represented by a square. So when you get these, you know these are the occupation cards. And then it's the lapis blue cards. These are the ones that's represented by culture. So let me go ahead and open up the rest of them. Let me put something on this book so the page wouldn't turn. Interesting deck. Out of all the years that I have been invested in reading tarot and things like that, I had not come across this deck before. But like I said before, if you didn't see the video that I talked about this in, I was inspired by Kendrick Lamar, child. On his latest album, he has a song on there that's called Reincarnated, and he's talking about past life regression. And I've always wondered, like, who was I in my past life? I'm not sure if reincarnation actually happens, where we carry over pieces of our soul into future lives. I'm hoping that it does, though. That's what my hope is. So then we have the greenback cards with the diamond. This is environment, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And then we have the red cross cards, which are the themes. I got to figure out what the themes mean. I'm going to get back to that. And then we have the purple infinity is the termination cards. What is this one? Oh, and then I have an Ankh card. And the Ankh card is basically an information card. I was like, well, that ain't on the list. All right, child, we're going to get through these cards. First of all, let me see what theme is about and termination is about. Theme. How do we break that down? Occupation cards. Let me go back to the beginning of the book. Theme cards begin on page 128. Told you it's a young novel, baby. Young novel. Hope the top of my head don't look bad. theme cards. Theme cards. These 11 cards are intended to summarize any one apparent incarnation, to highlight both the main trends of and the lessons to be learned from the events vicariously experienced in the course of a particular embodiment. Have no idea what the hell that means. That didn't tell me nothing. That's like defining a word with the word. What does the theme mean? These cards reflect the individual's characters displayed. These cards reflect the individual character displayed by your projected personality, which is different and distinct for each incarnation during their lifetime. There are many lessons to be learned here. Certain patterns appear in diverse apparent incarnations, which provide opportunities to revisit a particular theme or life lessons. So, life lessons is what themes are? I'm assuming, perhaps the most important of these is that you come to understand the passing, what the word is that word? Ephemeral? EPHEMERAL. If y'all word scholars, let me know. Sound it out down in the doggone comment section for me. Of the projected personality as distinguished from your higher individuality, forever at the center of the wheel of higher self or Atman. Have no idea what that means. None. What does that mean? If you know, put it in the comment section. Then it make no sense to me. Okay, so one of the themes could be abundance. Another theme could be growth, stability, justice or injustice, power, love or indifference, freedom or servitude, greed or generosity. So most of them have like two different meanings. Like you have the greed and generosity, but then betrayal stands alone. Fear stands alone. I don't know what that means. I will figure it out though, child. Trust me. Before I get into these past life readings, I'm going to figure it out. Termination cards. These 10 cards are designed to trigger your memories of the circumstances in which a projected personality came to the end of an impaired incarnation. Know that through these emanations, you experience them all. Not once, but many times. In the long course of your personal history, past and future. So our termination cards are experienced more than once. At one time, it was believed that a physical evolution proceeded at a slow but steady pace. A theory known as uniformitarianism. In this view, the passage of immensely long periods of time is sufficient to explain all changes. Catastrophes either never happen or need not be allowed for. Peaceful. Let me see what that means. Whatever the circumstances or general life situation of any of your projected incarnations may have been, you have often vicariously experienced the peace of a transition. That means you died in peace. Okay, so this is your death cards. You died peacefully. Okay, I got you. Okay, water. Your death may have been caused by water. There's countless ways. Rivers burst their banks, flooding, people fall in the pools, lakes, different things. So water may have been involved in the way that you died. Fire, war, suicide. Okay, so I get the termination. I still don't understand the theme. Maybe they should have used another term. Okay, so the themes. I think this first line of the love and abundance or indifference tells me your selection of this card suggests a vicariously experienced lifetime dominated by this emotion. So the themes are emotions. Whether you were creative or destructive. Okay, but because they are love and indifference, let's see, how would you differentiate the two? Highly emotional episodes, leaving deep scars in the psyche. Same souls tend to meet each other over and over until all such disharmonies are resolved. I don't have to read this, child. I'm going to read this while I'm on my little vacation. But let's go ahead and get into these cards. See, I'm going to get them separated first. Then we're going to break it all down. Break it down. I don't want nobody else to hear a sound. This love is a private affair. Gotta break it on down, down, down. Baby, you gotta break it on down. I think I may still need my help with the cards and their meanings. That's right. Okay. Gotta break it on down, down, down. All right, we go back to page in the beginning so I can know which card was what. All right, we're going to start off with the occupation cards. See what occupations we have. So you may have been employed by the government, your occupation card, or with the government in some form or fashion. You were in law. The military. Military is also government, but more specific, the military. And everybody who works with the military is actually not in the military. I don't know if people realize that. The little drummer boys, they were not in the military. There's independent contractors today. They are not in the military. Health, you may be involved in the health field or healing in some kind of way. Education. Agriculture. You may be an artist or artisan. Okay, I guess these are for the people who need that gender identity, the gender breakdown. They make the artist and the artisan, artist, builder, trader. I'm glad this is an occupation because I probably would have took that as being a trader to somebody. Laborer, somebody who is involved in a lot of hard work. This looked like slave work to me, but everybody who likes hard work isn't a slave. A beggar. Now see, I'm getting feelings from these cards, you know, how these are being represented. This is supposed to be an occupation. I guess like the beggars down the corner. Okay, but when I see this as a beggar, I see this as somebody who may be manipulative, maybe a con person, somebody who always asking for something. And don't be mad at me for saying it, but I'm going to say it. Those of you who every time you put up your birthday shout outs and you put your cash apps with it, you essentially begging, you know, but they say closed mouths don't get fed. But when I see this card, that's what I'm looking at. Somebody that's always looking for a handout of some sort in some kind of way. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're poor. Because I know doggone well that the guys down on the corner down there who be out there standing around for money, their house is bigger than mine. I seen one come from his house this morning. Anywho, courtesan. Okay, she's like a little minx, and he look like he's shy. Interesting. Mama. A mother is a job. I mean, I'm not gonna disagree in that. But where's the father? Because the last card is religious. This is occupations that we're looking at. We got the mother as occupation, but I don't see the father. So they saying the father ain't good for nothing. The father don't do nothing in the household. I mean, I know we got a lot of problems with our men folk right now, but I wouldn't agree with that at all. Okay, anywho. These are cultures. I'm going to put eras, time periods. Prehistoric culture is where, like, if I pull this card, that means one of the personality traits that you're dealing with right now, that's manifested in your life today, came from your prehistoric traits. And when I go through these cards, a lot of them, if you watch the videos weekly, they may change. You know what I'm saying? It depends on how many lifetimes you live. You're not gonna have the same one characteristic every freaking time I pull a card. Proto-historic. I don't know what that means. I had to look it up. The Mesopotamia. I've never been able to pronounce that right. From the Egyptian era. The Greek. The Roman Empire. Through the Dark Ages. The Celtic Ages. The Renaissance era. Islamic. Again, we're going through cultures. The Indo or Southeast Asian. China and Japan. Central Asia, Tibet. Central America. South America. Indigenous and tribal. Aliens. I'm going to pause here for a second, child. I'm going to give y'all my doggone opinion right here. We go through all these cultures, and there's not one black culture. Yes, I saw Egyptian culture. I saw that. But the average Egyptian at this point in time don't associate themselves with being black. They don't even want to. They don't want to be black. No African cultures, especially when science has already proven that life started in Africa. There's no African culture here. No North American culture, so we don't have no Mexican, Canadian, none of that. No Italian culture, no Spanish culture. What is going on here? What is going on here? Polish cultures. I know this is it's limited cards, and they going through it. But I see that they mainly focused on European cultures. The continent of Europe and Asia. Europe and Asia. We got South America too. I saw that. Yeah. What? No Africa. Africa ain't mentioned on this map at all. If you gonna pick from culture, well, Egypt. Even though they be trying to keep saying Egypt ain't part of Africa, it is by a plane ticket there. But still, we the original people, and we not in these cards. We can't be in the prehistoric ones because our DNA does not have the Neanderthal DNA in it. But go ahead on, child. Okay, my rant is over. What is these cards? Diamond cards. The environments. Also, apparently we have a severe weather alert tomorrow. Okay, that is tomorrow, not on Wednesday. The desert. The forest. Mountains. In the fields. You live by the rivers. River babies. Towns. Cities. I guess the town is more suburbia than we have the cities. We have rural, marine, and seashore. We don't have the rural or the countryside. Interesting. That's cool. That's how I know we're not going to hit on every type of... Maybe I'm going to have to create my own cards once upon a time. Actually, once I use these cards in conjunction with my archetype cards and maybe part of my Akashic Tarot, it'll help give me some better insight and connect more dots for me. We'll see. The themes. Abundance and penury. I've never heard of penury. Are they saying poverty, being impoverished? I have to look up penury as a word and get that definition. And then we have just growth. But see, when I think of a moth or a butterfly, I think of more transformation than anything. Justice and injustice. Stability and instability. Love and indifference. Then we get to our singular cards. Power. I got the power. Creativity and destructiveness. I like those opposing thoughts. Freedom and servitude. I guess when I do the reversals, greed or generosity. Because I'm betrayal. You being stabbed in the doggone back. Think about getting that with the doggone Ten of Swords card. Ooh, child. Fear. Reminds me of the devil card. All right. Last but not least, determination cards. You had a peaceful death. You died by water. You died in fire. You died in active war. You died by suicide. You died by somebody attacking you, killing you, murdering you, child. You died during an accident. I always have dreams about me dying in water. Always. You died through disease or famine, I'm assuming. There was something catastrophic happened that you died. A tower moment, child. Woo! You died by starvation. Look at that image. Oh, God. That would hurt my soul to die by starvation. All right, y'all. Those are my, the Awakening 4 memory cards that's going to help me dive into our past lives. I'm going to have to do a reading on myself first just so I could really break it down. Because I don't want nobody else to hear a sound. This love is a private affair. Thank y'all for coming back. Again, another shout out to our new subscriber, KIY something. I appreciate y'all all being here. You have a good one. Peace.